Who's watching YouTube?
Welcome to the Android Coliseum Hangout number 16. And we are live 15 minutes earlier to make it up for you guys for being so late all the other times. So, of course, I'm Tom Gray. Accompanied with me is Cass Morrison, Mark Lastuca, Ryan Moore, and Sylvain Labourse.
It's great to be here.
So we've had a lot of news this week, especially with Android 4.2.2 coming out for our Nexus devices. And of course, all our ROM cookers and everybody else have been jumping all over that, producing tweaks and ROMs for us to enjoy on our devices. So one of the first topics we got here was the wireless charger for the Nexus 4, when Google kind of teased us Canadians with it a little bit, saying, it's coming soon, wait, it'll be available. And then we found out 2 days later, now it's not available for our country. And of course, this brought up a lot of upset people. So, I mean, that being said, what do you guys think about it? And do you think Canada will get it? Or do you think this is going to kind of be a mistake on Google's part and they've actually pulled it back from us? So go ahead, guys. What do you think about that?
I'll chat about that one. I think, and we've talked about this when the Nexus 4 was coming out, that they've only done 2 phones, they've only done 2 tablets, and a very small, collected set of accessories that go with them. And so, in each time they've done this, it's been kind of spotty at best, right? So, this is a company that does really well at returning search results, but defining their own. I think they're still, learning how to go as they go, which I forgive them for that kind of sense. However, I would like a little more definitive that it's not available in your country, ... yet. I think that little extra phrase would really help me and keep me sane.
Right. So, that being said, now available for our country, of course, me being an eBay fanatic and addicted to it, I hopped on eBay, obviously, seeing if I couldn't score any deals off it. And, I'm seeing them for like $90 around there, give and take a couple bucks, plus $40 shipping. Then, of course, you got your taxes. So, realistically, you're in it $150 if you can't wait. Your only at best is to get a buddy of yours from the States or, have a P.O. box you can drop it off to, go pick it up yourself. Other than that, you're kind of SOL at the point. So, Cass Morrison, you had a thing about this?
Well, I was just wondering, you're seeing more coming out, like more of our cell providers are coming out with the Nexus 4. Like I think the latest one is Virgin Mobile. Do you think that maybe they're just waiting so they can sell them through the stores instead of selling them online?
I've talked to a lot of retailers, like, for example, Wireless Wave and other people like that, like Rogers, TELUS dealers. Well, TELUS isn't actually TELUS, they're like Luminous Solutions or whatever with the TELUS branding. And I've asked them about docks and stuff like that before. And the common response I get is they don't stock them because they tell me they don't sell. They'll sell 20 phones and maybe 1 person will buy a dock. They'll sell 20 phones and 3 people will buy a case. So, case is more likely. They have limited shelf space and they have to stock it accordingly, what sells, right? So it makes sense. But then again, if you see a dock on the shelf for $69.99, are you really going to buy it? That's a lot of money to commit, right? So anybody else have anything to talk about the wireless chargers?
Yeah. Also, to me to add on to that. You see it with like the iPhones. Like they'll sell accessories galore for iPhones and everything, and people will buy it because it's one design, one hardware piece. But like something like the Nexus 4, which there's only I think it was like 400,000. I think they estimated maybe 1 million they sold, and like they're not even that popular in Canada. So not only like you said, is it 1 in every 30 people may buy it. It's only good for the Nexus 4. Well, it's good for other key, but you can only get the great benefits of it with the Nexus 4, and it's also you get like the 1 in 20 people who buy it, but it's already a rare phone itself, so
right.
It doesn't make business sense for them to try and go on that risk.
So talking about Nexus 4s and such, I checked the stock earlier today before the Hangout, and they're actually the 8 gigabyte and 16 gigabyte models are still available, both at a 1 to 2 week wait. Unfortunately, bumpers are once again sold out. So, I mean, phones are readily available. That's a great, outstanding service for us right now, considering we had to fight tooth and nail to get them in the first place. Okay, so moving on to the next topic is the Android 4.2.2 that came out. A lot of noticeable changes, performance and security being the main ones that are hammering home. Adding some toggleable widgets on the pulling down notification bar. Not like we see with our custom ROMs, but rather holding Wi-Fi or Bluetooth or even notifications down will actually toggle it rather than opening up. Because before you would click on your Wi-Fi and open up your Wi-Fi menu rather than just toggling it on or off. So Google's taken their chance to rectify this and add us the toggleable widgets, but we kind of want to press them, not hold them. So I mean, they fixed the Bluetooth issue apparently, which I never really suffered to begin with. I know Sylvain, you said you had it.
Yes. Yeah,
So
just pass on, please.
Sylvain, so what was the issue that you suffered with the Bluetooth? Like what was the complaint about? As I never experienced it, so I mean, I'm kind of relying on you to tell me what was happening. Like, why was there an issue in the first place?
Yeah, well, I was on AOKP, and one of the problem is it would just disconnect, and then I couldn't reconnect until I just reboot the phone.
Right.
Right now, I'm running the 4.2.2, and I didn't have that problem, so seems to be pretty good.
I see. Okay. So one of the other features was they updated the radio for the Nexus 4, and by updating the radio, they also removed the ability to select LTE from the list. You could still see it, but once you selected it and navigated away from that window, it would revert back to WCDMA preferred, therefore not allowing you to select it. I actually ran into issues with the new radio with my signal being much weaker than the previous radio. I mentioned this in a couple of posts on Google+, where my phone at work already had a weak signal because of the place I worked inside. And it was so weak that it was struggling to maintain a connection and actually caused my phone to overheat. And I was losing 15% battery per hour. I mean, this was alarming to me. Of course, I shut it down. I removed the new radio to the old one. And, of course, things cleared up. Another note that we talked about on the pre-show was if you're running 4.2.2 and you want to jump onto a Cyanogen mod or something like that, the new bootloader and radio is going to cause you some problems. Cyanogen mod built their system on the previous radio and bootloader, so if you flash them from the released 4.2.2, it will give you problems and you will have lots of errors. So right now you're encouraged to flash 4.2.1 stock factory images, get your old radio, old bootloader before you flash the new Cyanogen mod to avoid these errors. Take it from me, a couple of my friends experienced this already, and you don't want to go there. So try and avoid it the best you can.
Yeah, Tom, is it better just to wait? Because I know for a lot of people doing all that, it's just a pain. All they want is to take the zip file and flash it and forget about it. What do you think?
I sideloaded the update before my Nexus 4 got it because I'm just impatient like that. I mean, I want it now. I don't want to wait till tomorrow. It was all right. I mean, the notifications were a little bit nicer. I noticed the phone was faster. Like all the navigation, the windows, the settings, everything just kind of flowed a little bit smoother. But I noticed the signal was weaker and my Wi-Fi was noticeably slower. I'm not sure if anyone else noticed this. I personally did. Other than that, there wasn't too many other advancements. There was a couple little things here and there, but nothing that's going to make you all shock and awe. I know this actually sparked Cass to root her Galaxy Nexus, and she wants to talk a little bit about that here today. So go ahead, Cass.
Okay, well, I had rooted my Galaxy Nexus probably a month ago when I figured out that I wouldn't lose all my settings because I had already unlocked it. But with 4.2.2 coming out, because I'm on a Canadian Nexus, we were still at 4.1. We didn't get 4.1.2, and then we didn't get 4.2. But there were so many problems with it, I didn't feel motivated But they said they fixed a lot of the stuff, so I thought this was stable, and I even thought of getting a Nexus 4. And I really like my Galaxy Nexus, so I thought, well, it's time to take the big step, clean off my phone and start again. So I I kept texting with Sylvain. I started, actually, interestingly enough, I started on Talk on my phone. It also linked over to Messenger on Google Plus and the chat. So I think they might have merged all those services. But through Sylvain, I use that Goo
Manager.
Goo Manager. And that's a really slick application. It has a backup, and it has buttons. You just press, I want to go into recovery in case you're a fumble fingers. And it worked real slick. And I had backed up with Carbon. So all the stuff that I had, all my settings came back. The only thing that didn't come back really was the screens never come back right. Like with Apex, it doesn't bring in your widgets if you restore.
Yeah, same with Nova.
Yeah, so I just had to set that up. But that's, like, I really like how it's running. I finally get to see the different camera settings and notifications, and it does seem smoother, seems a little faster. I'll be interested to see what kind of pictures I get now, like if they've tweaked some of the settings for pictures. But it was overall a really good experience. Thanks, Sylvain.
Hey, no problem.
Oh, I'm proud of you for rooting your Galaxy Nexus. I've been jumping on you for that.
Very good move.
All right, so I know Mark had something to say, so you go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. So I don't know about the lower signal. Like I've updated, and I haven't had any problems with my signal. It's been 4 bars, but I haven't really left my house, and I've never had a problem with the signal. Maybe when I go to work, it's not that bad. So my battery drain hasn't been that big of a problem. Like I'm getting, what is it? After 10.5 hours, I have 27%, and I haven't charged it yet. So I've still got it half decent. What I did notice is beforehand, I was getting a lot of random reboots. So I'd be in the middle of using my phone, and the phone would just reboot to the screen, or to the load screen. And then I'd have to reload them to do everything again. So that was very annoying, because I'd be sitting there, reading something on Chrome, and then it would just shut down and reboot. I don't know if they did any fixes with that. I haven't seen it have that problem yet. I haven't had any reboots yet today, so maybe that's fixed. Maybe that was part of one of the things they fixed. But what I did notice is I still haven't received 4.2.2 for my Nexus 7 yet. That still hasn't come yet.
Really? I don't know, people got those first, before the Nexus 4.
Yeah, I was expecting the Nexus 7 to come first, but I got the update to the Nexus 4 first, and my Nexus 7 still hasn't gotten it yet, so I don't know. Come on, Google, send it to me.
The Nexus 4 was delayed by a day and a half because Google merged a comment about a day before it was expected to release with the Nexus 7 and 10, and it actually caused the Nexus 4 to go into a boot loop, so they actually had to pull the update, and that's why everybody else updated first. The Nexus 4 got delayed because they had to revert these changes.
So that 4.2.1.
Did you try clearing your Google framework services? And
I didn't, but I heard that can cause problems.
You have to resync your Google apps afterwards. That's the only problem. So what you have to do is go into your settings, your Google account, and then hit the little options tab on the top right corner, and just sync all. And
but to be fair, I shouldn't have to do that. I should be getting the update already. But
if you're impatient like me, you probably will.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, you guys. I know Ryan wants to comment as well. So go ahead.
Just about the service framework and doing the check-in, like to help speed the process up. I know I posted about that a while ago. One of the issues that it can have with it sometimes is it could take up to a week sometimes for you to actually be fully synced back. Like, for example, after I did it last time, the Play Store, if I would go to the web, wouldn't see my phone as connected.
I see.
That's what I just to be careful. It took up to a week before it finally. I mean, it's a minor inconvenience, but it did get the update pushed out faster. So
Yeah, check-in doesn't have a problem, but of course you don't have a dialer on the Nexus 7, so can't do the check-in.
I just wanted to say that all the reports I had read about this update did say that it was doing a lot of fixes. Like it was supposed to be fixing especially Bluetooth and the random reboots. Because until that got fixed, I was not interested in updating at all. My phone works fine, and I kind of like having it work fine.
Yeah, there may be I heard there was a Wi-Fi disconnect that was fixed. I've had that problem where my Wi-Fi on the Nexus 4 will just shut off randomly. So I'll be like, I'll be like at work, and then I'll pick up my phone and it'll be on 3G. And then I'll go into the settings, like it won't have Wi-Fi on, and then I'll go into the settings, and Wi-Fi will be turned on, but none of all the Wi-Fi routers will be listed there. So then I have to turn it off and turn it back on again, and then it reconnects to the router. So I had that problem, but I don't know. Again, like I haven't seen it kick me off Wi-Fi yet, so maybe it fixed it. I don't know, but.
I had that issue as well. I didn't actually lose connection to Wi-Fi, but it would not reconnect to Wi-Fi. That was my problem. Like I'd go to work, and of course I'd leave the range of my Wi-Fi to fall off naturally, and it just wouldn't connect back again when I returned home. All right, so moving on to the next topic is Chromebooks being sold in Canada. I've got a couple of pictures from some friends showing that Chromebooks are starting to appear at Best Buy locations. The one in particular was Coquitlam. So, I mean, it may not be available in all Best Buy locations yet, but they are coming. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So, they're on their way. I know they haven't been available for a while. People are trying to order online, and they're not being sold or, only shipped to the United States. So keep your eyes open for that.
I was just there today.
Why?
Well, I live in Coquitlam.
Oh, the Best Buy. I thought you were in the U.S.
No, it's in the Best Buy there.
So the things to look out for is they actually set up a Google section. So similar to the Apple section, you'll see a very big Google sign there, and then they'll have a table in front of it, and they'll have like your Nexus 7 there, and some Chromebooks, and of course your prices and all the cards and yada yada yada. So
I'll need to go there before they all close.
Yes, you should.
Anywhere Best Buy's closing down. The only question I would say is, Chromebook. I swore off laptops and netbooks and everything for a while now, thinking I'm only going to go tablet, I'm only going to go desktop computer, but a Chromebook I think is going to be a really good play because, again, I've called it beginning of the year, Chromebook, the Chrome OS, and I think Android OS are going to merge probably at by Keyline Pi, if not a little bit after that. I think it's going to be like just a great experience. And like Tom was saying, it's cheap laptop, so super good buy. I would urge anybody that will grab one just for the sake of trying it out and playing with it.
Yeah, do they work offline?
Yep. Well, you can sync your like if you sync your Google Docs and you sync your Gmail offline and Calendar, because most services you can sync offline. So if you don't have it, then yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know how many of you read it. There was an article that was posted, I noticed, and it was, I guess, by the guy who he originally developed the Chrome OS. He actually built it based on Firefox originally, but it was the advantage wasn't to create a web-only platform, but to create an operating system that ran completely in the RAM. So, because it sped up all the applications and everything. So he actually did all of his coding when he worked at Google. He did all of his coding using his own little computer built on that, I guess, Firefox OS at the time.
Well, that would make sure it was skinny too, because you don't have as much RAM as you do everything else.
Well, like I said, like a lot of he told management about it, and a lot of them they kind of thumbed fingers saying, well, what about if you don't have internet connection to something? He's like, well, you don't need to do it, And they said that's you would use web apps to run your applications because if you wouldn't have the space in the RAM to run heavy applications because your operating system would be running on the RAM instead of running in the hard disk, and that basically cuts out your hard drive, which adds a lot of boot up time or startup time for everything.
I just had a quick little comment about the Chrome OS. I mean, I don't know if you guys ever played around with different Linux operating system. Think. It was called Think GOS, which was an early Linux one. Kind of disappeared for a while, but it was very much what Chrome OS is now. Very much all web app based. Everything. It was really cool, and I really liked it. And they stopped developing for it, and I was really excited to see that they had Chrome come out for that. So. Okay.
All right, so Ryan, so you want to jump into your Optimus G?
Yeah. So I mean, I've had a pretty busy week, so I've been trying to get myself keep up to date on some of the things that's been going on. So I know you noticed the blog's been a little bit quieter this week, but one of the big things we heard this week was Optimus G Pro, this new second generation of the Optimus G, 5.5-inch screen, 1080p, quad core, 2 gig RAM. But I think the key point here is it's 5.5-inch, it's non-stylus, there to compete against the Galaxy Note 2. And I mean, up to if you asked me like 6 months ago, LG, I would have been. But that Optimus G, when it first came out, I remember when the Nexus came out, I was like, I don't know if this Nexus 4 is going to be a seller. And LG sent me the Optimus G to play with, and it was like immediately I realized that they've stepped up their game. They know what they're doing now. So this Optimus G Pro would be, I think, kind of a cool play. I haven't really read much about it, but I'm interested to see a 5.5-inch screen, so that phablet range, but no stylus. So I know, Tom, you've had the Note 2, and you said you didn't really use the stylus all that much. So, like, would this be something more, amenable? I mean, you like the size of the 5.5-inch, just not having to worry about a stylus on it, though.
Yeah.
So I think I'm interested to see what this thing comes out and to play with it. I mean, that'd be really cool to play.
All right, Cass, you got a comment? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that Samsung is really working on going with the stylus with multi-window and stuff like that. I know that LG is as well with the multi-window, and I think that that's what people are going to start to do. What companies are going to start to do to distinguish each thing within Android is add these extra features that will draw people in, because that multi-window thing that now that I have it on the Note is awesome. Like the cascading windows and stuff like that, and pinning, and it's just great.
Yeah, I just want to say that I've never tried a phablet because I'm scared that if I hold one, I might fall in love with it and forget about my Galaxy Nexus, and it would be a disaster.
That is one of the things I always said when I had my first Note and then the Note 2. I had told everybody, it says, once you get the Note, you can never use a smaller phone. I mean, I'm proving myself wrong now with the Nexus 4. But it's kind of hard to go downsizing like that because, as I explained, it's like having a 52-inch screen in your living room and then going down to a 42-inch. I mean, you're going to miss it. I mean, all your apps are smaller. Your games are not large and beautiful anymore. I mean, you kind of do miss it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it's like getting a friend's phone and it's an iPhone. You go like,
they're so small.
It's so small.
Yeah, my brother still has an iPhone, so I live with that every day. So speaking of phones and new phones and old phones, Sylvain has an old phone, and we're all trying to convince him to get a new phone. He has the Galaxy Nexus still. I know there's a lot of people actually getting the Galaxy Nexus going, look at my new phone. I mean, I actually have some friends who just got the Galaxy Nexus and are so happy for it. But Sylvain, we're trying to get him on the bandwagon for Nexus 4s. I've been trying to convince him to sell his Galaxy Nexus, get a Nexus 4. We talked about this 2 weeks ago. You guys didn't pressure him enough, and that's why he hasn't done it again. So I'm saying for everyone watching this or reading, doing whatever, get on Sylvain's Google Plus page, harass him like you've never harassed anyone before, make him buy this phone. So Sylvain, I mean, why haven't you bought this phone yet?
Well, this week I would have had a good reason to get a Nexus 4 because for the first time I dropped my phone and it bounced twice. But, I mean, it's still rocking, so why would I change it? I just got the latest Jelly Bean. It's really, really good. I like it. I'm not sure I would really gain anything until Android 5 or Key Lime that's going to come out. I'll see then what happens, but at that point, maybe, I won't be able to sell my Nexus. So.
That's
Yeah, it's a big dilemma.
you don't need it.
I'm still going to tell you, Sylvain, you're not going to get key lime pie on your Galaxy Nexus, so you might as well go now and try out.
Mhm.
Well, AOKP, I'm sure they will do a port of some sort, and we'll see. I mean, I'll think about it.
Oh, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, I've actually I've got my wife now really wants to get the Xperia Go, so the ones that you can buy them unlocked from the Sony store here.
Oh yeah.
So they're smaller. They're 3.5 inch screens. They have a dual core 512 megs of RAM. They're a cheaper phone, but they're the ones that are like water resistant, dust resistant, and everything. So and it's the one they sell to Sony's a yellow colored. So she actually really wants to get that one now. So we're gonna have to go down there maybe tomorrow and pick one up.
Nice. I hope to see the review next week.
Sorry, what?
I remember playing with that one on Android TO, and that was the demonstration. Hey, why don't you just take this phone and dump it in the water here?
I think I'd still be scared to do that.
Yeah, I'm like, how about you do it? Just
They got it going $399 basically, or $299. Sorry, from the Sony store unlocked. Yeah, and it's gonna get upgraded to Jelly Bean in March.
But I have a question for Mark. I know you've jumped from what is it, the Nexus S?
S, yeah.
Yeah, to a Nexus 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, how did you do that? How did you wait so long, to update your phone? Because, I mean, my phone's still really good. Why would I change it? It's not if I had the Nexus 1.
The Nexus S was good, and I put a lot of the custom ROMs on there, so it was able to live. But it started to really go slow because I was trying to do a lot in 512 megs of RAM, and it just wasn't handling it right. And it was kind of the thing that I'm going to wait until I wanted the Nexus phone because I wanted the updates, and the Galaxy Nexus came, and I just was like, well, I'll wait because they still have it's only been a year or something since I got the phone, and then I waited, and then I played with the Razer HD, and that was a good phone, but it still had the 1 gig of RAM, and I was still with all my apps installed, I was still getting some slowdown. So I was like, I think 2 gigs is the sweet spot. So I was just waiting for that Nexus 4 to come out, which would have the 2 gigs of RAM, the quad core, and then I knew that you get that one, and you're good for quite a while because that one will still be able to handle all the major updates for a long time, and before it starts to gets brought down to his knees.
Yeah, well, Kaz just said 1 year, and that's right. I was thinking the same thing with my Nexus, and look, we're there a year later, and everybody wants me to buy another phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I paid a lot of money for my phone, right from TELUS that day it came out.
You're also listening to Tom, who changes phones every 2 months.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
To answer your question, Sylvain, earlier, you said, why do I need this phone? And, realistically, you don't need the phone until you have it in your hands, and you realize, I really need this phone,
And that's why I stay away from stores.
Yeah, that's why I didn't try a phablet yet.
Okay. So, moving on, speaking of the Nexus 4, of course, I'm buying lots and lots and lots of cases and accessories, and the two I got here is the official Google bumper for the Nexus 4 and the XDA Cruiser Light case for the Nexus 4 as well. I've had some time to play around with them. I got articles coming tomorrow about more detailed reviews about them. The Google bumper is actually a very nice case, or bumper I should say. It makes the phone feel very, very wide, very thick. I ran into a very critical problem with the bumper though, and that was the USB, micro USB here, is so thick that all the docks in my house, the USB wouldn't reach the phone to charge it. So I mean, this makes, it is flexible. It makes my all my docks inoperable. I mean, I have 4 docks around my house for every room in my house, right? So I mean, this kind of kills all my accessories.
That's what the wireless charging orb is for.
Yeah, I don't want to spend $150 to get wireless charging now, or wait another month and spend $80 when I already have docks that can do pretty much the same thing wirelessly. I just have to go ding, done, docks, right? The Cruiser Light case is the same as any other Cruiser Light case. It just has the XDA brandings on it and some cool, nice designs.
Wow.
It's your typical cruiser-like case, great quality. It's a bit flexible but solid, adds some good protection, and this one's thin enough that it allows me to use all my docks and everything like that. I mean, so obviously I would take this one just because I can have my own docks and my case and have it all, right? So I know, Mark, you said you had the bumper, right?
Yeah. So I got the bumpered as well, and I've also received in the mail just one of the cheap TPU cases for one of the Chinese guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I've played around with both of them as well, and what I found is, for me, it feels like it's thick now, and it's not like it's slightly thicker, but it feels now more like it's harder for me to stretch across and to drag across now to reach. You might have bigger hands, so it's not as big of a problem, but with the TPU cases, I still found like they even though they added more thickness to the back, they didn't add as much thickness around the edges, so I still was able to reach all the way across, and it didn't feel like the phone was a lot thicker, while this one, the bumper, does feel like that way. This
Right.
bumper probably adds a bit more protection, though, because it's a bit thicker, but I mean, I don't know.
Right.
And it looks much nicer, though. I mean, it's the quality is really high on it, but,
I know Cass commented here that she likes her phones naked, and I totally agree. I mean, the reason why I got these two cases in my hand right now is because my phone is actually currently naked. I mean, I do put a case on every now and again, and I use it for a while, and I go, take it off. It's better naked. I mean, that's just the way I like it. I mean, we actually had a comment poll about it earlier, and Ryan actually had a poll, and a lot of people preferred it naked. And actually, Ryan has something to show us right now.
Well, yeah, no, thanks to Tom. I mean, I prefer naked as well. So that's why when I got the TPU case, I got one of those clear ones. But I got one of the cheaper Chinese ones, and it's starting to show to the UV damage to it, so it's getting yellowed. It's kind of hard. It's one of the, you really have to kind of see it in certain light, but I know it's getting yellowed. So, again, I'm looking forward to it and something else. So, Tom sent me one of the neoprene cases. So this is kind of cool. Good way for me to at least to leave it in. When I put it in my pocket or whatever, I can put it in my pocket this way. Otherwise, it's going to be in my hand all the time. And bonus of it being a neoprene case, when you take it out, it's usually wiped clean. It's kind of nice. That's so I'm going to play around with that. I just got it today, but thanks, Tom, for that. Lets me relive the fact that it's naked again. So.
I'm still not a fan of sleeves, just because then once you pull it out, you got two things in your hands. Then you're like, oh, now I gotta put this in my pocket or something.
Well, I'm gonna leave the sleeve in my jacket pocket, and so when I put it in the jacket pocket, I'm sliding it into the pocket and then into the sleeve. That's my system. So and then I just pull it out of the sleeve, out of the pocket. So
that's what I do with my purse too. Just leave the sleeve in there if I'm using one at all.
All right, Ryan. So jump into your Razer HD little review you got going on there.
Yeah. So Mark, back when we were on the other blog, Mark had a chance to play with this little baby. Remember this, Mark?
Mm-hmm.
He used to drool over this guy. This is the Motorola Razer HD from Rogers.
LTE.
It recently got the HD LTE. It likes all the little acronyms. It recently got Jelly Bean, so I thought I'd give it a try and see what sort of new features the Jelly Bean update brought with it. And immediately I'm struck. I'm like, wow, this is a really nice, solidly built phone. Just quality build. And it's just funny. People razz on the Nexus 4 for not having a removable battery, but same thing. It doesn't have a removable battery either, and nobody really gave it any grief. But it's a good device so far. I haven't had a chance to really dive into it, but I'm going to look forward to having something by the end of this weekend and review it by mid next week, hopefully. So.
You'll enjoy it. It's a good, well-built phone.
All right, so go ahead with your review, Cass.
Okay, so after our guest last week, I thought that sounded like the perfect phone to check out for my husband. He gets hand-me-down phones and weird OS phones. So his last phone was a Windows 7. So this time I did get him the Z10. And he is not he's not a phone enthusiast. And he is trying really hard to get me to get this phone because then we'll be on BBM together. But that aside, he just really, really likes it. And I have to say that this is a really nice feeling phone. It's a great size, and it feels solid but not heavy. Like, I always found iPhones kind of heavy. So one thing they did with this is you don't have to turn it on all the time with the button. You just swipe up and your screen comes on. And you swipe, I'm trying to do this so you swipe whichever way that was, and you see your hubs, and you have all your stuff in like all your texts and BBMs and everything. I don't think I'm saying anything new here. So, and then you have a pin it page that is a lot like widgets, kind of. And as you get more, you can scroll up and down. And, oops, has a notification dock. So everything that you get, all you do is you open your app. So let's see if I can do this. It's hard to do sideways. So let's say we open YouTube, and it opened. And then to close it, you swipe up, and it goes to your active screen. And if you really want to close it, then you just hit the X. Which way did it go? And then it goes away, and your screen reshuffles. So it's got some really nice ideas. Even though it doesn't have a lot of apps right now, it does, like with YouTube, it goes to the web page. And the web page, the browser renders really quickly. So it's not like you're waiting. You just have to log in. One of the big, it's got this really neat, I don't know how to get it down. It's got this really neat sleep function. So when you want to go to sleep, you just pull down the sleep function, which I don't know how to get. And it shuts your phone off for the night. Like, it just turns off your notifications and stuff. You can set it. So the screen shouldn't turn on in your pocket because you wouldn't swipe it, as like you really do have to press and swipe for it to turn on. Lots of stuff. You can sort of reorder the app drawer so that the things you like for most are in your first page, and then you just swipe along to the things you don't like. One thing that he really didn't like about Windows 7 was he couldn't figure out how to get stuff off his device. And with this, it's just really easy. I don't know. You just don't want to remove anything, but you just press and hold, and eventually things go wobbly and little bins push up. So then you just press the delete button. I did send him, you can see maybe you can't. I sent him Songza from my device. So there it is. I can send him stuff through NFC from my device, but my device is not picking up his device. Now, we've only had this for a week, so I don't know. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of cool.
Is that emulating Android? Or is that actually a BlackBerry app?
No, I think it's emulating Android. But I could check. I do not know. I'll check and get back to you later. Like by the end of the thing. So, like, really, to me, this is, like, I got him the Windows Phone because he's the type of person, he does a few things with his phones. Like, he likes to have, he metal detects. So he likes to be able to take pictures. He likes to be able to have his spreadsheets so that on his phone, so he can access and see where he's going for the next place he wants to go. It's got the Weather Network on here. It's Canadian. Weather Network's Canadian, so of course we have the app. And I think that for most people, they wouldn't have to get a lot of apps. They would just get, a few games and a few specialty things. I really hope that this goes well, not just because BlackBerry is a Canadian company, but because I think this is a really good product. I just am really afraid that it's too late, because I know a lot of people, like, I tell them about it and we're impressed, and they go, "Oh, I just bought the iPhone 5." Like, what can you say? And the other thing is the keyboard. He's really heavy into physical keyboards, and he loves this keyboard so much that he actually texted me to tell me he loves the keyboard. So, and I have to admit, it's pretty awesome. Like, it does really good predictive, and it's so easy to just flick up your words. Like, you hardly have to type at all. So they did a really great job. That's all I got. It's not Android, but
yeah, I really like the option of swiping up, to turn on your screen.
Yeah.
Why don't we have that on Android?
I don't know. We're gonna have to steal some stuff, I hope.
Didn't the Note 2 have a wave your hand in front of it thing from Samsung?
Yes, it did. I can't remember what it was called, but yeah, you would hover your hand. I think it was like Quick View or something like that. You would hover your hand over the sensor, and it would show the screen for about 3 seconds to show you if you had any missed calls or text or whatever.
Just give it a month or two. I'm sure some custom ROM will have that on there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
And he had said, just to bring in the battery life, like, this does have a replaceable battery. So if we get another one, he can always charge it separately. But he said the first couple days he had it, the battery life wasn't that great, but he's found it settled down and really, really coming along. So
yeah,
the battery life isn't great, but you have to remember it's a new toy and you're on it all day. So of course the battery's going to go on. What were you going to say, Mark?
Yeah. So I mean, I had a. You guys know Robert Scoble, right? He's pretty.
Yep.
He's pretty big. I had a bit of a tiff with him because he was so insistent that that the platforms are where the apps are. So, if it doesn't have the apps, it's going to die, right? It's like it's not going to live. It's just and he called BlackBerry in a death spiral, right? Because he was saying that none of the developers want to develop for it, and I was insisting that not everyone cares about apps. People just want to be able to do email, and they want to be able to do check the weather. They want to be able to check where they are on the maps, and that's basically it with these smartphones. They don't need to do all that stuff. A lot of people get overwhelmed with the apps, and there's a lot of people who still use BlackBerry. There's a lot of loyalty in Canada, especially for BlackBerry. So I can see it. I can see it doing well, just because people don't need all those options. You don't need to have all those apps in order to succeed. And I think we'll see. I guess the proof is in the pudding. We'll see how it goes. But I still think that they have a shot, just because if they build a very compelling platform that people enjoy, and have this, people still have that loyalty, especially with the BBM. That they might actually do pretty well.
I think they're going to draw people in, because really, Fred did not have any kind of loyalty to, he didn't care whether he got a BlackBerry. He had one at work, but he's one of those people. He doesn't need a lot of apps. He needs, as long as it does the one thing that he wants, then he's happy.
There's one. Sorry, I just had one question here before. I heard that it only has about eight. Like, if you have that multitasking screen, I think it said 8 apps can be on there at one time. And then if it goes, if you do the 9th app, if you do open if let's say you open up Maps and then you open up 7 applications, and then you open up the 9th application, the Maps will close and you have to reload it. Is that how that works? It clears it away and you have to reload it? I
haven't. I could try it right now, but I did find Songza. Songza is in the BlackBerry world.
Oh, okay.
So that's interesting that it bumped it from mine and found Songza in BlackBerry world. That's kind of amazing that it would do that. From Android to another OS and then find the app.
Well, they did mention that there was going to be Android emulation, and I think currently right now it's 2.3, Android 2.3, but they did say that it would be updated to Jelly Bean 4.1. I think they would have the emulation level up to, so it would actually have a much better emulation soon. Not right now. I guess it's kind of slow right now, but obviously the developers can't keep relying on emulation. You have to eventually develop apps for the BlackBerry native apps. But
all right, so we're gonna burn through a couple of apps, but before we do that, I just want to make a funny quick comment here. Is wouldn't be a kick in the pants too if BlackBerry people start getting Android updates quicker than some of the actual Android users got. What would be over that? Okay, so we have a couple updates on some apps that we're going to burn through really quick. This is very simple. Dropbox being the first one on the list, Dropbox added notifications for invites. So now if you get invite to share a Dropbox folder or file or whatever, you'll be notified within that app rather than it being sent to your emails and such like that. I know Ryan Moore, he has a list of apps here that he'll go into and he'll knock them down one by one. So Ryan, when you're ready, go ahead and take on this list.
Yeah, there was a lot of updates, and I'm pretty OCD, as you guys know me. I like to make databases and I like to keep track of everything. There's just so much this week. We're just going to do some highlights. Office Suite Pro 7, I written some articles about that a while back. A great little office program app. So Cass, so your husband has no excuse. There's a great Excel program for Android. It just had a refreshed UI, very clean, very good UI on that one. So it just looks nicer now. Minus, for those of you who know me, like Tom was talking about Dropbox, I'm a cloud fan. I love all my cloud services, but Minus really dropped the ball on this one. It's changing gears from a cloud storage app to a social app, where you can share pictures and chat with people who are nearby. And it was really creepy because I turned the app on after the update, and it started showing me pictures of people with their kids at a park, at a restaurant, 250 miles away from me. I'm not about to chat with them. I ranted about this one on the blog, so I'll let you guys read that one. But I was just so upset. I'm so upset with that update. Bitcasa, another cloud service, just recently launched this actual its initial release. Again, I did an article on that one. If you want to go take a look at Bitcasa, just as an alternative for cloud storage, you can't have too much cloud storage. Google Plus, some bug fixes. Pinterest, you could do some new things with your profile. The really coolest thing recently is the Google search, Google Now updated. You now have a widget, which I now use as one of my lock screen widgets, which gives me a nice little agenda of what's going on, as well as it added some new cards to its ever-growing list. And if you hadn't had a chance, I did an article the other day about all the commands you can use with Google Now, so go take a look at that. Swift Key Flow, some performance issues, battery maintenance issues, layout issues, punctuation issues, all fixed like that. So those are the ones that I saw were a little more pertinent than the rest. There were a ton of other just bug fixes this week, which for a guy like me who loves seeing app updates, it was really cool. So the last update I'll quickly talk about was just the Bell S2 update. It did come out. I'm finally getting myself caught up on it. But what I haven't seen is the Galaxy Note. Everybody kept talking about the Galaxy Note and the Galaxy S2 would get the update at the same time, get all those new features, but no mention of the Note anymore. S2 got its update like it should have, but no Note. The hell? Anyways, that's what I saw.
All right, that's a pretty good list there. One that really caught my interest was just the Swift Key Flow. I mean, I keep trying to get it because the regular Swift Key on the market right now, it's the regular one, it has UI issues with my Nexus 4. I'll be typing on Swift Key, and all of a sudden, like, the letter U will just fly across the screen. And then I keep typing, and all of a sudden, the letter E will fly across the screen. And I'm just not sure what the heck's going on. After update, they still haven't addressed it. But with the betas of Swift Key Flow, it doesn't exist. So, I mean, I'm also noticing a little bit of touch delay with Swift Key Flow opposed to the stock Google keyboard. I can type more rapidly with stock Google, where Swift Key Flow, it seems like it's a little bit clunky when I'm typing with it.
And it now works better with Google Chrome Beta. Mm-hmm. I know, for example, whenever I use Google Chrome Beta and you had a search bar to type into, for example, like the Ingress Intel page, I'd go to the search box and it just disappeared. Now it just works much better and actually works like it should, so that's really cool.
I got to get back into those betas. I haven't used them in a while. So speaking of apps I haven't used in a while, ROM Manager kind of was just floating around in space for a while. They never really did anything exciting. You know, they were the huge popular thing, especially for CyanogenMod users such as myself. I'm sure Sylvain's used it a few times in the past.
Yes.
Because they were like the #1 app. Everybody had to have this because you installed your custom recoveries and stuff like that. And recently, they're using the Team Win custom recovery now. And so you have 2 different types of recoveries to add to your phone with just app, not just Clockwork Mod, right? That being said, I mean, you used to be able to install your CyanogenMod using this app, keep up with updates and stuff like that. And then they kind of just stop updating, you know, general bug fix here, general bug fix there, and this wasn't too exciting. And then CyanogenMod added their in-ROM updating service, and all of a sudden, you know, ROM Manager kind of fell off the map. Not many people used to talk about it anymore. ROM Manager finally gave us a reason to go back now. So now they have the 2 different types of recoveries, and they even include Delta downloads. And if you're not sure what a Delta download or a Delta update is, take, you know, CyanogenMod ROM, for example, generally runs around 170 megabytes. This will actually examine your current build, it'll look at the changelog, and it'll only download what is necessary to get you updated. So rather than having to download that entire 170 megabytes every single day for a nightly flasher like myself, it will actually just examine and only have to download 16 megabytes and go on. And so, I mean, this is a great feature for me because I'm always downloading nightlies on my way to work, flashing them on my way to work, you know, kind of living life on the edge. My phone crashes, I don't have it for a day. So I'm kind of putting my my phone career in CyanogenMod's hands. So I know Sylvain said no more Sign Delta, which was an app somebody developed to make Delta updates as well. But now if ROM Manager is including this, I mean, why would anybody use that app when you have the all-in-one ROM Manager that's going to, you know, back up your phone, keep track of your restore files, download all your ROMs. Now you're just going to download faster because it only has to download a portion of it. I mean, so if you haven't used ROM Manager in a while, you have it sit in your backlist for a while, go check it out because you might actually find some good use for it.
Well,
yes, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, yeah. About Cyan Delta, Tom, it's not a merge, is it? They just...
I don't think it's a merge. I think this is something they did on their own accord.
Okay.
Yeah, this was one of the problems I had with on my Nexus S with doing the flashing new ROMs and everything is I ended up running out of space really quickly because I always would, you know, download the new nightly or something, and then you have to go, and every once in a while you have to go and purge some of the old nightlies just because I ended up getting like 3 gigs of space was just old nightlies or something that were kicking on there. So, you know, that got to be kind of somewhat of a problem for me that I have to always go and check them all the time. So.
Mm-hmm.
It's good that that they're doing that.
It is. So go ahead, Sylvain, with your comment.
Oh, I don't have another comment.
Oh, okay. So with that being said, that was the last of our list. So moving on to the App Coliseum updates. We're doing a Tasker app update. Ryan has a poll going on right now, and there's a link on our public document if you haven't checked it out yet. So we're going to go through a couple of the tasking apps we use, you know, to help you go through your day-to-day schedule, make sure you don't skip a beat in your busy life. So we'll jump onto the list, and Ryan, you're number 1, so take it away.
Yeah, this is something I know when I run the New Year's time, I posted on and I sort of said, you know, I'm making some New Year's resolutions, and I always like to find a way to make it efficient, and what's the app of choice? And you know, typically we like to use tasks or calendars or something like that, but there's something else out there. So I found, and I'm going to talk about, and I read an article on it before, an app called Fig. And it's been very barely minimal in terms of what it needs to do, but it's exactly what I wanted to do with this not as much nagging, right? So it doesn't nag as much as I would like it to. So you basically do is you can create little tasks to say, I want to do 10 push-ups 2 times a day. You can make that little reminder, and every time you do one of those little sets of push-ups, you hit the button, and it goes, great, thumbs up, still one more to go for the day. And as it gets closer to the end of the day, it says, there's still time for you to go and do your push-ups. And if you fall behind for a week or so, it's like, there's still time now and again. But you can put in little reminders like, I want to go, we want to have our family movie night once a week. I want to make sure I write an article on my personal blog once a week. I want to make sure we go and do a family outing once a month or something like that, where you can make all sorts of little things. And what's nice, again, it reminds you without nagging you, and which is really kind of cool. It does have notification trays in there, so that mine is Fig, and I've kind of fallen away from using it, but it's been the one I've been kind of liking to try to use. But again, I'm kind of doing this to see, what do you guys suggest me? Is there something I'm missing out there that'd be a system that I could fall in line with? So Fig, I'll post that in our page for that one.
Okay, so mine is G-Tasks, and the reason why I like it is because it connects up with the tasks on Google Calendar, and it also has widgets, and it fits in with my other widget. So I'll just do a couple of screenshots here, I hope. So this is one of the widgets that you can have, and they have 3 different widgets that are available. So they have this one, and I like how it's on there before it's actually on my computer. So it does have an option of 3 different widgets. It's got a 4x4, a large one, and just the G-Tasks. So the one that I have up showing is the 4x4 one. The other thing that I like about it is I can also put it on my calendar. So when I add, it's just up at the top in orange. Those are my G-Task items. So they're actually on my agenda. So as I do stuff, I can knock it off. And I can open that and edit and then check it off actually in the app. And it does give you the ability to set a bunch of different lists. So like you can have a bunch of different lists, so you can categorize your to-do things. Apparently I have stuff that I used to do on Saturday. Now I just stand around in my pajamas. No, that's Sunday. Anyways, I like G-Tasks. It adds to my sense of trying to get things done.
Cass, with that, can you set up a repeating task? Like if you know...
No, it is really just a to-do list. So I shouldn't say no. Maybe you can. I just don't use it that way. There is a pro version. I'm using the free version, so maybe the pro version does allow you to do repeaters.
So what's with the free version? Do you have ads in there?
No. It just does less, I guess. It does less, but there is no ads.
All right, so that's the end of your app there. I'll lead into my app. Mine's very, can take a long time to explain this. I'm your good old-fashioned Google boy, so I just use Google Calendar. I mean, I don't have to explain to you what Google Calendar is. I'm sure you already know what it is. So I'm just going to say Google Calendar is awesome. I use it to just mark my events in my calendar, and if you have a Samsung device or whatever and you don't have the stock Google Calendar, you can actually download it from the market. So go check that out. As I said on my list here, yeah, I'm boring. I'm just your Google guy, so we'll just shove off down the list, and Sylvain, that's you.
Okay, I'm using Tasks. So I got it when it was, I think, 10 cents or 25 cents, like everybody else, so everybody knows that app. I like that there's a nice widget that's resizable, and I can use a dark theme on it. So that's what I like. It just merged with my black background because I did remove my my wallpaper now. It syncs with Gmail, so it's all saved in there. I mean, I use it to-do list, groceries. I even have a tab that I call archives. That's just random stuff that I probably don't need, but there's a few passwords in there and stuff like that. So yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, once again, there's not much to say about it, but it works for me.
All right. So go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so you can't seem to do screen share just because I guess maybe the update to 4.2.2 I don't have the right drivers, but I'll just try and show. Now I hate doing this because I already went over this. Maybe it was a few months ago or something, but it's the one that I do use for my tasks, and it's AnyDo. I did overview it then, so I don't know how much I really want to go into it, but it's, you know, I guess now it has, like, if you have 4.2, then you also have the lock screen. So if you just have a look here, like here's on my lock screen. You can see I have that one there. I just have the test scale. So it allows you to create a bunch of widgets that you can populate your screens. I have a whole bunch of them that I've kind of set up here. And you can either sort by day, you can sort by type of task important, you can sort by groups, and it syncs up with your Google Tasks, and it also has Chrome plugins. So I can show you guys here screen share. This one, yeah. So you can see when I extend it here, I don't know if you can see that or not. Can you see that pop down?
Yes.
You can? Okay. So there's I have a little extension in there for AnyDo, and that has that task, so I can take it off and I can remove it. It looks really nice, looks really pretty. It operates really well. You have the black theme or the white theme. I know Tom would probably be all about the black theme.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it just works well because it syncs everything. All of your you can do it from anywhere. You can do it from all your devices. You can do it from the you can do it from your Chrome browser, and you can read from your Google Tasks. So it's actually I like it. I still use it. I have no other need for it.
So Mark, I did try that app because I remember once it was in the App Coliseum, and I remember using the black theme because I always go like black theme. Everything can be black. I don't mind, just like them. And it was so hard to read because the font is so thin, and it wasn't
Really?
white on black. It was kind of a grayish, or I don't remember.
This is
blue
what I
maybe.
got. So now because I ticked it off, it shows this ticked off, but. And it has predictive texting, so like I wish I really could show you guys, but if I start typing, you know, like BUY, as I start typing buy, then it has a whole bunch of options in there, like buy milk, and
Best
then
Buy.
as you type it, it starts to kind of predict that. So as you go buy milk, and then buy a microwave. Apparently that's pretty common. That's a task.
All right.
So,
So if
the
that's
last thought I'd say on that. So again, we're looking to see what you guys are using out there for your system of how you stay on task, especially here we are 6 weeks in after New Year's. Who's still keeping up with their New Year's resolutions? Who isn't? And is Android helping you keep that going? So
What
that was
resolutions?
Everybody makes New Year's resolutions, right?
That's like me. I don't make New Year's resolutions. That's why I didn't have it. Yeah.
Anyway.
all right. So we've killed our list here. So as Ryan was saying, you know, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you guys are doing, what kind of lists you're doing. Tell us how we're doing. We'll be doing an offline hangout here in a minute where you guys can join in and question us on whatever we talked about here. If we sucked and you come over and start ridiculing us, that's okay. Or if you want to praise us for doing a good job, that's okay too. We actually appreciate that more. But so feel free to join us. We're just gonna have some drinks. I know Ryan's got some stuff, and Sylvain's got some drinks as well, and we're just gonna chat some Android offline here. So thanks you all for joining us. On behalf of Android Coliseum, I'm Tom Gray. Cass Morrison, Mark Lustuca, Ryan Moore, Sylvain Laborse. We bid you a farewell and good night, and hopefully we'll see you soon in our offline hangout.
Kia ora.
All right, see ya.
Night.
Everybody.